Okay, so here's what I'm working on. I made this mandala, and I like it because it's kind of a rosette. And so I photocopied it, and I used a pencil and I went over it, and then I put it on here and then took this and rubbed it off. You can get about 3 rubbings and then you have to do it again because the paper kind of stretches. If you look at it, you can see that the paper is a little bit, it's hard to see, but where you've rubbed it, the paper kind of stretches and it gets warped. So eventually, even if there's still graphite on it, it's a good idea to just do another one. So I'm going to show you how I do that. I've got a lead holder here, or a mechanical pencil, and it has really soft lead in it. You could use any soft lead pencil. It doesn't have to be obviously doesn't have to be a mechanical pencil. But so I'm just going to trace. And I decided I only wanted 2 lines in here, 2 circles in here. There are lots of ways to do this. You can also use transfer paper. I'm choosing to do it this way because it's less messy. The only place I get graphite is where I want it. And with the transfer paper, the graphite paper, it can be a little messy. Tracing these circles is less important because I'm going to do it with a compass on my paper. See, even now it's already kind of stretching. It's just the nature of it. And it doesn't seem to matter what kind of paper. I think tracing paper might be a little better. But for me, it's just easier to I have a printer that has a copy feature, so it's easier for me to just photocopy it than use tracing paper. So that's basically what you do. You just trace the whole thing. You just go over it with a soft pencil lead. Don't worry if the pencil lead is not very sharp. This is like a 2mm lead here. I prefer that. You press kind of hard on this because you want to transfer as much graphite as you can onto the paper, because then that's what gets transferred. That's what transfers your design, which is why I don't like to use I like to use a 2mm Don't worry about if you're using a pencil that has to be sharpened. Don't worry about having a sharp point. You don't need one. I think it's better if it isn't sharp, honestly. Now you may be asking yourself, why on earth am I doing the same design? Why am I not doing different designs? Well, I'll tell you. I want to have a whole bunch of these, and I'm going to do them in different colorways, and I'm experimenting with value and hue to see, how it affects the design. I want to explore that, and I feel like when I get it all done, I'm going to take these cute mandalas and I'm going to cut them out and I'm going to do something with them. I have ideas for collage and kinetic sculpture, and these guys are going to be a part of that eventually when I figure out how that works, because I don't know. I love kinetic sculpture. I love my wind spinners for summer. There's something about kinetic sculpture that I find really compelling. And if you ask why I am going around this way, it helps me make sure I get everything. If I focus on one part of the design, then I know I've gotten it all. I don't leave gaps. Okay. Getting around it all. Hey, when you are taking your meds, would you set the oven to 4? What are we doing? Are we doing 405 or 455? I can't remember.
I don't know. What are you cooking?
Bacon.
I'll have to check the plane.
Okay, would you do that for me? Because it takes about a half an hour for the oven to really heat up.
Which oven?
Top oven. So you can see the paper is, it's not flat anymore. It gets warped. It stretches. All paper stretches, I think. All right. Did you open Duncan's door so Sam could get in?
No.
He was really crying to get in, and Duncan, heartless Duncan, wouldn't let him in.
Really? So where is it?
He was in here for a little
he's
while.
right here.
Is he at the door,
Yeah, front door.
sitting there watching everything happen?
Yep.
All right, that's what I thought.
Yep, he's just calmly sitting there.
All right, so there it is. Now, I'm gonna lay it down here. And I'm just eyeballing it. Using Oranda tape. Because it is really easy on your paper. Very easy on the paper. Okay. This is Oranda tape. Good stuff. Okay, let me make sure it is. So, yep, you have to be sure and get it good. Get it good. Get it well. If you want to use proper English. You kind of have to go at it from different directions to get it to come off. Yeah, I think I can do that. Okay, so then the next thing I'm going to do is I have a compass and a micron. Okay, so I'm going to check here. I'm going to do the circles. I'm checking to make sure that I've got the... Okay. It's not going to be perfect. It just isn't. And I've kind of accepted that. Did you know that Persian rug weavers and the beautiful Persian rugs, they always made errors in their knots to show their humility and their acknowledgement that only God is perfect. That human beings are not. So, especially for precise things like mandalas, where you can really get caught up in how well you do it, it's a good reminder to not obsess over that. Now, I think all these fine liners are pretty good. I really like this art liner by Spectrum Noir. The tip seems to be more robust than on a lot of these. So just FYI, if you're into that kind of thing. Used a Minoan motif here. Oops. It's a good thing I'm not hung up on it being perfect, huh? I think I went backwards. Okay. And don't worry about that kind of stuff. It's okay. It helps to figure out what direction you want to go and just keep going in that direction. Minoa was a Greek civilization during the Bronze Age, if I remember correctly. And they were on the island of Crete. And they disappeared for some reason, and we don't know why. But they made beautiful art. Absolutely beautiful art, in my opinion. They used a lot of ocean motifs. Lots of dolphins, lots of wave patterns. They could have disappeared because of war. They could have disappeared because of volcano or tsunami. We don't know why they disappeared. Maybe they just left. I don't know though. It looks like a beautiful island. I can't imagine just leaving to leave. I suspect there was a tsunami or some kind of natural disaster. Not that I'm a scholar. It just makes sense. Okay. I've been more interested in mandalas again lately. Not because I feel like life is Like, I tend to go to really structured art when I feel like there's a lot of stuff that I don't have any control over. And that's not really the case. I feel like I've got a pretty good handle on things. But there's stuff that is a little like new and a bit overwhelming. Not in a bad way. It's all really good. Good stuff. But it's new and it's maybe a little overwhelming. I guess that's the best way to put it. Just there's a lot to learn. It's very exciting. It's all good. But sometimes that makes me want to go to more structured art again. But I'm also doing a lot of exploration, like with color, different pigments and hues and gouache, which is something I've used before, but not a lot. And I tend to like to do structured art when I'm exploring new things. I submitted some art to a show and I got accepted. And I got two things accepted. And they're both ones that I did here on YouTube. And maybe I'll share that later in another video. But I have to do a headshot and an artist statement. I have an artist statement, but I'm not entirely satisfied with it. So I'm going to take this opportunity to redo it, maybe. And the headshot is kind of stressful to me because I don't wear makeup a lot, and I know I'll need it for this. I used to wear makeup all the time, but I have, since the pandemic hit, I kind of stopped wearing it. And now whenever I wear makeup, my eyes get so irritated. And very red. I've got drops for that, I guess. But it's an unpleasant experience. Anyway, I also, I'm not in love with, I don't feel like I'm real photogenic. So that is a little troubling. And I have about a week to get this all together. And I have to get the pieces, I have to frame them. Fortunately, this is not like a, how can I put this? This is not a hoity-toity type of gallery where I'm showing. I love it because it's very inclusive. But that doesn't mean I don't want to treat this seriously. I'm very concerned about. I'm doing it well. So, but I guess the point is I don't have to, these pieces are not going to be priced in the thousands or anything even close to that. So I'm not going to invest a whole lot. Probably go to Michael's and get some, what are they called? Shadow box frames. That way I don't have to worry about matting them. I have a thing about mats. I don't really like the white mats for a lot of my stuff because my paper is not white and the matting doesn't really match the paper. And I feel like it kind of clashes. But the ready-made mats don't really come in the color, necessarily the color that I'd want to use. And to have a custom mat cut is like, I want to say it's $30. And I don't know that somebody who buys my art isn't just going to put it in a different frame, you know. I mean, I feel like with oil paintings, people keep the frames. I don't know. Probably overthinking this. I would never do that. Kelly, you would never overthink it. Now, usually I'm pretty decisive. And so I think I like the idea of a simple black frame that has a slight shadow box. Not a really deep shadow box, but either that, or if they don't have them in the size I need, then I'll figure out a way to make spacers so that I don't really want a mat. I just don't want a mat. Ideally, I need to learn how to put them on a board, put the watercolors on it, mount them on a board, and not put any glass in front, just like with other paintings. That's one of the things I don't like about watercolor is framing them and having glass. That's just the way it is most of the time. Okay, so now that's how I do it. And I like these gum erasers for erasing this because it gets it all. And it doesn't seem to damage the paper. And who knew that erasers are that important? But I think they really are. I like my gum eraser. And there. You're supposed to use a brush, but it's fine. So then what I'll do is I'll just bring this over here. I'll line it up and I'll do the whole thing again. Except you have to turn it the other way. It helps to turn it the other way, doesn't it? Okay. And I'm just eyeballing it because ultimately I'm probably going to cut this up anyway. All right, and that's how I do it. Bye, you guys.